talking about purchasing a home for the first time. If you are a first-time home buyer, give us a call here at 613-728-1001, and you can ask Brian or myself a question that you may have. One thing I do want to point out just in the last segment, talking about those conditions in the contract for when you purchase your home. That's something that a real estate agent will definitely help you out with. By going through a real estate agent, you'll have those conditions, so you are protected. And that's, I think, is one of the things when you're purchasing a home, you always have that fear of, okay, if I buy the home now, something's, there's going to be a sinkhole, the place is going to sink in, or there's going to be something that's going to happen with, after you move in.
There's also what's called a seller property information statement, which some people are doing and some people aren't doing. Legally, a seller doesn't have to fill it out. We recommend that all of our listings do fill it out. And essentially, what it is it's a list of, say, about 75 questions or so that ask questions about the house. And it's to the best of their knowledge. Okay? And essentially, it's questions, of any slipping and sliding, any cracks in the foundation, any type of moisture issues, any restrictive covenants that come with the land. Are there any dumps going in nearby? Is there any expropriations going nearby? So we ask all this stuff. So to the best of their knowledge, everything's fine. So it's in writing that way. And it's a great tool to use. But there are the conditions that are met within the first 4 or 5 days. And I was mentioning to you off air that what we've done, we sell so many houses through our brokers that we've actually morphed some of our clauses after we've gone over things with the lawyers, just through our experience about how we've rewritten some of our clauses to really protect our clients and the buyers. And that's, essentially every agent will do that to the best of their ability, is to put clauses in there that you wouldn't think of otherwise if you were going to say, try it on your own, which I've been that guy before I got into real estate. And now that I'm in real estate, I realize that's a really bad idea to try and do that on your own.
I think everyone has thought about it, doing it on your own. Like, especially as a first-time home buyer, I know in my experience, there's just so much to think about, and you think about your finances, finding the home. Emotionally, you're excited, you're not really thinking clearly, so it's good to have somebody there that's experienced that's been through it before to just say, really back in and say, this is what we need to do. And
well, a lot of people don't. A lot of people think that they're not going to use a real estate agent because it's going to cost them money, and it doesn't. It's free for people to use it. You get our experience, you get our knowledge, you get some exclusive listings that you don't see elsewhere. And the other thing is a lot of buyers choose not to because they feel like they're going to have a lack of control.
Right.
But that's not how it is. We actually have programs and systems in place that you're in control the whole way. We just let you know, legally and protectively that you're covered. That's our job.
Yeah. And it's important too. Purchasing a $300,000 property is a big expense, and you kind of want to make sure that you're doing it properly, and it's not mistakes at the end cost you dearly for sure.
Yeah, and there's lots of selections out there, so we're not afraid to tell you, this home is either not priced well based on our market evidence, or there are some possible issues with the home that we can show you visually, and things that you may not think of otherwise that we have experience doing, and we can go and look at other homes. A couple of years ago in 2010, people were looking at 3 homes and choosing one. Now you go see 15 or 20. In the same neighborhood. So, if that home isn't great, there's always another one around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of the thoughts is that a real estate agent is going to push you to whichever first home you see, because the agent wants you to buy. So, right now there's a lot of choice. They're not, they're there for your behalf, trying to do what you're looking for. So.
Yeah, I'd like to think that people aren't doing that.
But it's kind of like a misconception.
Yeah, sure. But that goes back to the control thing, right?
Yeah.
First-time home buyer or any home buyer, they can choose as many homes as they want. I'm certainly not going to pressure anyone to buy a home if they don't want to, that they're maybe overextended or they're not comfortable with. You can see it actually right when they walk in the house. When they walk in the house, you can see if they're feeling it or not feeling it. And you'll be able to. I'm not going to tell them they can't buy a home if they want to buy it, but it's their call, not mine.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of protecting home buyers, one thing I do want to discuss is throw up the first slide for about mortgage insurance. The one thing when you get a mortgage is that the lender might possibly get you to sign this mortgage life insurance. So they'll ask you mortgage, like the mortgage paid off if you pass away. The one thing about the mortgage insurance is that it doesn't necessarily work that way. The big difference with mortgage insurance, as opposed to life insurance, is mortgage insurance is not guaranteed to pay. Whereas with life insurance, it is guaranteed to pay. 100% upfront. Also, with the mortgage insurance, they might try to imply that you need to purchase this through them in order for them to approve the loan, which is not true because it's illegal. It's called tied selling. Whereas with life insurance, you can shop compare, use a broker. You can find the lowest price for you. The other with mortgage life insurance is that it has a declining payout. So as you pay down your mortgage, the payout declines. So you're still paying the same amount of premium, but the payout is decreased. Whereas with life insurance, the premiums stay the same and the payout stays the same. The other with mortgage insurance as well is that it does have an increasing premium. So every time you renew your mortgage, you're older, so your premiums keep continually going up. Whereas with life insurance, if you get a 10-year or 20-year term, your premiums stay the same for those periods. So 10, 20 years, the premiums stay the same. And the one big thing too with the mortgage insurance is that the bank gets the money, whereas with life insurance, your family gets the payout. So they can decide what they want to do with that money. And the second slide, I'm just going to show you the cost difference between the two. So if you were to get the mortgage insurance through your bank, say you're going to get $350,000 coverage if you're a male non-smoker. So through your banks, you're looking at $82, $76, or $84 a month. If you're going to go term policy, term is 65, you'd be paying $43.22. And that goes right to age 65, whereas with the other ones through the bank, they're going to be continually going up. And you can see that the total difference at age 65, the big difference when you're saving. With the term insurance, you'd be paying a total of around $18,000, where if you look at right in the middle, paying over $55,000 at the end. So that's a big cost savings, about $37,000. So something to think about when you are getting a mortgage, instead of taking that mortgage life insurance to your lender, is to speak to a life insurance broker, because you're going to save a lot of money and you're going to actually protect your family, not the bank.
That's some of the best advice I got when I was buying a home.
Yeah. I actually did a little blog on AndrewWBradley.ca about mortgage insurance a couple weeks ago, and there was a comment from someone I read it that said her parents went through that scenario. Her father passed away, and then the mortgage, they paid their premiums for years and years and years. But when he passed away, they didn't pay out because his illness wasn't covered. Because they don't do what's called the underwriting, so they don't determine whether or not you should be insured until you make a claim for the benefit insurance. That's when they look at your medical history, and that's when they come up with the declines. Whereas with life insurance, they do that all up front, so you're covered and there's no worry about it. So it's
that was great advice I got. That's what I did. Exactly what you told me.
Yeah, exactly. So, and CBC Marketplace did an episode on that too. I have it on my website. You can see that. It's pretty scary. They have a ballroom. They ask all the questions that they were said yes or no to, and you clear out the whole room about 100 people. So
yeah,
it's pretty scary. It's definitely one of the things you don't want to be worrying about if that does happen to you. It's emotional toll, someone passing away, and then trying to wait to find out the payments. The payments going to be made. Are there any kind of common mistakes that first-time home buyers make? Try to steer them away from?
Yeah, well, I would say essentially impatience is really sort of the number one thing, aside from not getting pre-approved first.
Yeah.
The process is not actually as difficult as you think. But being impatient can really be your worst enemy, because like I was saying, there is a buyer beware element in going through this. I look back at my parents' generation, and they bought a house and they kept the house.
Right.
They didn't want to change houses every 3-4 years and recoup losses from what should be an appreciating asset. My parents, when they bought a house back 5 years before I was born, they finally redid their kitchen last year. Today's generation, they're in their 20s and they want everything right now, and that has a lot to do with the home designer shows and all that kind of stuff. And they want everything now. Well, I think what you should do before you go and see a home after you're pre-approved is sit down with the real estate agent and go through some of the things that you want. Like you were mentioning a checklist before. Is square footage more important to you, or are designs more important to you? And the last thing that you want to do, and we see this happen a lot, is people will go for the design first. They lack the square footage, and after a few years they realize, I need a bigger house, but I want all this stuff to come with it. But their income hasn't really changed all that much. So one thing that I would recommend is to go and get a house that might be a little bit dated in the same price range as the other one, but you're getting your square footage, and be patient, and while moving forward, do things as they go. And there's a lot of pride in doing that too. There's a lot of reward felt in it. And when you redo the flooring to the way that you want after a few years, it's great. When you redo the kitchen after a number of years. So I would say to be patient.
Yeah.
You know, if you can't have your cake and eat it too, you may want to choose the cake instead of the icing, right?
That's exactly what I was saying. I was just thinking, we were talking about when we bought our first home in 2008. When we were looking at homes, and we found the home we bought eventually. Had everything that we wanted, we were looking for, but the interior was just atrocious. Like everything was pink.
Right.
Pink everywhere, bathroom, basement, and they had huge furniture. It just didn't seem right, but I wasn't interested, but my wife said, stop, look, this picture, we had it our way, we did things, and,
sure.
Considering the cost compared to a home that similar, but updated and modern, is a lot more than, to take the time to do what we did, exactly like you said, we updated things, and,
well, color, paint.
Yeah.
Paint doesn't cost all that much, and you can have a house looking completely different just with fresh paint in the color that you want. So yeah, that's a great, and another thing is that's another reason why not to max out.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're getting the square footage and maybe you want to do some things right away, like maybe replace a carpet if it's in terrible condition, hopefully you've negotiated that, or at least hopefully the listing price has taken that into account.
Yeah.
That when you move in, you don't max out on your mortgage, so you have a little bit left over that you can do some things with. But if you're going to max out, you're not going to have someone else pay for you maxing out,
That's
right?
Yeah.
So, but to be patient, you'll do great.
Yeah. No, it's exactly the house that we bought. It was on the market longer, so we were able to negotiate a little bit lower price because of the interior, right? They weren't getting the views or any offers on it. So, thankfully my wife was able to stop me and make me think of it before moving on to the next one. So,
one of the other things you're asking about was as far as what not to do is, one, you don't want to overpay. Another, you have an agent. That's a huge mistake if someone overpaying. A lot of first-time homebuyers, in part of the restrictive rules that have been put into place for first-time homebuyers right now to be pre-approved is appraisals. A lot of things are being triggered on an appraisal. So let's say you bought a house for $350,000, but the appraisal came back at $330,000. Well, they're going to give you a loan up to 80% of the value of the home, not necessarily the purchase price, the value. So what they're going to say is, listen, we'll still finance this house. We're going to do 80% up to $330,000, but you're going to have to come up with that extra $20,000 to pay us. So that's going to fall apart. So you don't want to overpay for the house because that'll be a nightmare. And the other thing is when you go in, this is what's really, really important about doing a market analysis of the house. You don't necessarily want to lowball the seller. You have to put yourself in the seller's shoes. You want to put together an offer. This is for the house that you want, by the way. You want them to be able to want to take your offer. So if you lowball, the risk behind that is they're not even going to counter offer. They're just going to reject you outright, and you'll get a letter from the other agent saying, don't even bother coming back anymore. So, there's a fine line of how you play it, right? We want to get you the best deal, but we also don't want to insult the other people, and we also don't want to reduce the value of your own home.
Okay, so we're going to just end it right there.
Sure.
So we got to take a break. So we'll come back with more with Brian, and give us a call at 613-728-1001.